Language, culture, and education are the threads that hold a person's world together. Language carries memories. Culture gives them meaning. Education shapes how they survive. In a country like the Philippines, where 186 languages breathe beneath one flag, each tongue is a fragile vessel of identity. When a child learns in the language of their heart, they learn with clarity. When that language is silence, something inside them goes quiet too.
Linguistics uncovers the truth that language is not sound. Language is a worldview. Some cultures navigate life through cardinal directions. Others name hundreds of varieties of the food that keep them alive. A single word can reveal a person's root, gender, status, and history. Language draws invisible boundaries. It unites those who share it and exposes those who do not. A single sound can welcome you home or mark you as an outsider. Language dies, not with explosions, but with whispers. A new word replaces an old one. A dominant culture overshadows a smaller one. Children trade their ancestral tongue for the language of screens, believing it offers a brighter future. Eventually, no one remembers the old words except an elder whose voice trembles when they speak. When a language vanishes, an entire way of thinking disappears with it.
UNESCO insists that children must learn first in the language they were cradled in. This is not sentiment, because it is survival. In Mindanao, schools that teach in Bukidnon Pulangian do more than educate. They rescue identities on the brink. When children hear their own language in the classroom, they finally see themselves as worthy of learning. Without mother tongue education, students are forced to think in borrowed voices.
Across the Philippines, languages bloom like wild plants clinging to cliffs. Cebuano greets a fisherman at dawn. Hiligaynon softens markets. Ilocano rides through the northern wind, but others wilt in silence. A child answers in the language of television. A grandmother swallows a word no one else remembers. Languages like Higaonon, Ligbok, Manobo, Blaan, and Banaunon stand at the edge of extinction, held only by elders whose voices time is slowly taking. When a language dies, the world doesn't just lose vocabulary, it loses a heartbeat.
Language in the Philippines is more than communication. It's tied to both culture and politics. Avilan reminds us that language carries a community's worldview. Yet many Filipino languages are pushed aside because of our colonial past and the dominance of English and Filipino. UNESCO emphasized that mother tongue education is crucial for meaningful learning and social inclusion. In our context, it also becomes a form of resistance, challenging the idea that progress requires abandoning one's own language. But despite mother tongue based multilingual education, families still feel pressure to prioritize English for better opportunities. The gap between growing and endangered languages shows how power influences which languages survive. As future educators, it becomes our responsibility to support linguistic diversity and ensure that schools uplift rather than silence the voices of marginalized communities. Preserving them matters because each language carries unique knowledge, identity, and a different way of seeing the world. First, improve mother tongue curriculum by training teachers well and using culturally relevant materials. Second, work with communities and elders to document and teach endangered languages. And third, build school environments that value all languages, not just English.